Main Street Media Thursday Night Football Game of the Week is on the air. Tonight's game is brought to you by the Tennessee Safety Highway Office. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now, to bring you tonight's action, here are Wade Neely and Scott Stewart.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Another edition of Main Street Preps Thursday night high school football. It's game of the week time here on Main Street Media Radio, presented as always by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, who remind you that fans don't let fans drive drunk. Alongside Scott Stewart, Wade Neely saying hello. We come to you tonight from the gorgeous campus of Battleground Academy. We're here at the Guffey Brown Stadium, where tonight the BGA Wildcats are set to host the Christ Presbyterian Academy CPA Lions. Scott, good evening, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I've been fired up about this game ever since I saw it on the schedule. I've seen BGA back in the day, way back in the day, whenever I was in high school. They came down to Giles County a couple times, but I don't ever remember coming up here. Never seen this campus, and it is an amazing campus. And this football field's great. So proud to be here at Battleground Academy in Franklin. We've been treated extremely well. Everybody's taking good care of us. And, of course, there's a familiar foe out here. You know, as you guys know, Wade and I come from Giles County, and we had some battles with CPA back in the day, back in the early 2000s, early 2010s. For Giles County, but so CPA is looking good. BGA is still trying to find themselves, and they've got a lot of injuries. We'll talk a little bit about that in the pregame. Man, it's great to be here after last week being off, and just welcome everybody in for a great night of Thursday night football.
Yeah, it is going to be a fantastic night. The sun is setting back behind us. We have got a gorgeous backdrop here on the lovely campus of BGA. CPA comes in with a 3-1 overall record. BGA is 2-2. The Lions are 1-0 in Division II region play, and the Wildcats enter at 0-1. So, Scott, you kind of set it up just a moment ago. We kind of know what we've got thus far from CPA, and that's a very talented team. They got a lot of great skill players.
Yep.
They got a lot of college commits already, or signees even. And on the other side, though, BGA kind of having a little bit of a renaissance. They had some success 5 or 6 years ago, and they're trying to rebuild back to those levels. So tonight is going to be a fun matchup between, and really, as you said, if we can figure out what BGA's got tonight, we could be in store for a really good ball game.
Yeah, but the problem is, as we talked about, Wade, there's a lot of really good players hurt for BGA. Locke Kennedy, who's a receiver, quarterback, DB, He's out. He's been out since like the first or second game. He's not back yet. Evan Hannaberry is out. We thought Jack Hannaberry was going to be the brother Jack Hannaberry was going to be out, but he's been out there practicing, so warming up. So we think he's going to be back. But they got Jeremiah Rames, and a linebacker's out. David Demarest is out. He's a linebacker. They've got a lot of their linebacking core is out, and that's going to be tough against a really good CPA offense. Now, what we got, though, is you got the CPA offense, which is got some great ball players, including, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a young man that's headed to LSU most likely. But then on the other side, on the BGA side, from what I saw, their quarterback, he's just a sophomore, Caden Marable. He will be probably the most accurate quarterback we've seen tonight so far this year. Wade, I mean, when I looked at the highlights on these two teams, that's the one thing that stood out to me was his arm strength and his accuracy.
Yes, and CPA under the direction of Ingle Martin still, this guy has done a fantastic job. He's a prep legend here in Middle Tennessee, and then obviously goes on to Florida with a great career and then bouncing around several stops in the NFL. And since he has taken over in 2011, this program has really taken their already established program kind of to new heights. As since they joined the Division II ranks, they got the 2018 and 2020 titles. They finished either champion or runner-up every year since 2018.
Yep.
So they are really loaded. And kind of the onus of this game will be indeed on the Wildcats tonight. But you're right. And you make a great point when you say that BGA at least looks the part, at least in our pregame warm-ups routine that we've seen from both of our teams here tonight.
Yeah, just some names you can look for from both teams. On the defensive side for BGA, look for names. We'll look for Jack Henneberry. I had Evan Henneberry. Jack Henneberry is the one that we think will play. You got Christian Thompson at quarterback, Alex Giannotti at cornerback. Of course, we got a lot of kids that haven't gotten a lot of starts that'll be playing linebackers. So we'll be calling out some different names there. Looks like we'll take a minute to do our prayer.
We'll have a quick prayer. We'll have our national anthem, and we will step aside for a timeout. You're listening to Main Street Preps Thursday night game of the week coverage. We're back right after this.
It's just a few happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Welcome back, folks. Main Street Preps Thursday night high school game of the week action brought to you all season long by our friends at the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, who remind you that fans don't let fans drive drunk. Alongside Scott Stewart, Wade Neely saying hello. Our producer making all the magic happen. He is the great one. He is Justin Kulik. Good to be back with JK as well. And Scott, crowd is filling in nicely here.
Yeah.
And on the south end of Williamson County, we are in store for a really good ball game tonight. Like you said, this is a jam-packed, talent-filled roster for CPA, but they have already been beaten once this year. Pearl Cone, if folks that have been reading Main Street Preps a lot this year know it. Pearl Cone playing a very challenging schedule. They knock off NBA week 1, then they follow up with the win versus CPA. That's their lone blemish. And the Lions right now coming in 3-1 versus the 2-2 Wildcats.
Yeah, talking about CPA, some of the players we're going to be looking for. Brandon Streeter is their senior quarterback. From what I noticed of what the highlights I saw, he really kind of has a good view of the field. He sees the field real well, decent arm strength. A couple of really good receivers, including Andre Evans, the young man that we talked about that's headed to LSU. The wide receiver core for CPA is just amazing. And really, to be honest with you, as much as I like Andre Evans, I like Jackson Matthews. He's got good size, good speed, great target, moves really well with the ball. He will return punts. I saw where he returned one for a touchdown. You got Andre Evans. You got Riley Gregory Sr. You got Gannon Kale as well. All these guys are seniors.
Yep.
And, I mean, that's a lot whenever you got a very senior-laden team for CPA, whereas BGA's got a few more underclassmen that we'll see out there tonight. So, on the defense, you're going to see Gregory. You're going to see Crew Laws at inside linebacker. Steel Chance, which is the name of the night, by the way. Steel Chance sounds like a good Western name, doesn't it? Inside linebacker, Leroy Harris, the third. Weston Parker Jr. You got Evans, Matthews, and Kale all at the defensive back position. CPA is pretty stacked and packed, and like I said, not only with talent but with experience.
They have got a loaded squad, and we can tell you, we've talked about Andre Evans, the LSU, coming from Pearl Cone. He's got quite the backstory as kind kind of a chance workout at the Division I Academy. Kind of from a rough upbringing, a tough upbringing, but he has found new life and transferred from Pearl-Cohn, was already on his way to stardom at Pearl-Cohn, but now has really kind of flourished as a member of CPA. He's headed to LSU. Streeter, the quarterback, will play at the next level at Delaware, home of the mighty Joe Flacco, as I'm sure Justin Kulik was quick to point out there. Cruz Law is set to play at North Carolina. He'll join his brother, former CPA quarterback Cade Law.
Right.
You got Jackson Matthews, who is the grandson of the legendary Doug Matthews.
See, I didn't realize
of the
that.
Tennessee.
That makes a lot of sense.
Tennessee
now.
fame, and son of Tate Matthews, who's a big name here in Middle Tennessee as well.
Right.
And then you did mention the Western. Yeah, we got John Wayne Oliver, who's on CPA. He's headed to Ole Miss. And then you got Leroy Harris, son of the former Titans offensive lineman Leroy Harris. He's kind of uncommitted. So how about that, by the way? You got 5 guys that are already going to big-time schools, and Leroy says, you know what, I'm going to weigh my options. He's got options from Memphis, Eastern Kentucky, and some other schools. And then the big names on BGA are Marable, the quarterback, like you mentioned. This is a sophomore that really has kind of looked great both on tape in his first couple of games and in warm-ups tonight. And then Arnett Hayes, who transferred from Webb over there in Bell Buckle.
Right.
It's a kid that can really go too. So there's really talent on both sides. It might just be slightly more skewed to CPA, but I think we're in store for a good ball game either
Another
way.
player to look for on the BGA side is Will Evans. He is, I think it's Will. Let me look and make sure. Yeah, Will Evans. He's wide receiver. He's a special teams return guy. He's also he can pull in at quarterback, and I saw where one highlight where he threw a touchdown to Marable. So, and by the way, just in case we haven't mentioned enough names, we're gonna have to throw. We are in Franklin, just south of Music City. The third string BGA quarterback happens to be number 15 in. Let me go ahead and make sure. Bo Bryan, whose dad happens to be a gentleman named Luke Bryan. That's right. If we get to the third string quarterback, of course, I think in this game it's going to be hard to get down there unless somebody gets hurt. We do not want that to happen. So let's hope that we're calling Marable all night, because I will say this about Marable: his arm strength is pretty impressive for a sophomore. He's a real skinny kid too. He's not real big yet, but he's got some arm strength, and some of the passes I saw him throw on the highlights that I watched, he can put it on a dime, baby.
This team and this offense has been explosive. Again, if you're just joining us, we're prepping for CPA at BGA, and these teams come in with records of 3-1 and 2-2, and CPA really has kind of lit it up outside of the loss, as we mentioned, to Pearl-Cohn. This has kind of been a dominating one-sided rivalry over the last 9 to 10 meetings. As a matter of fact, CPA enters on a 9-game win streak, including a 28-0 victory last year. These teams met back in 2018 in Cookeville for the state championship. It was 41-21 that night. But BGA kind of got a little pep in their step, kind of got their swagger back, and the captains are out. We're moments away from our coin toss here.
Yeah, your captains for BGA, Alex Giannotti, Jeremiah Raines, Jack Henneberry, and Jackson Fisher. Over on the CPA side, I got 2 of them so far, Will Carroll and Hayden McKee. Looking for, let's see, it looks like Tyler Langford, and there should be one other one. I hadn't got his number yet, but we'll get that in just a minute. Coin flip is up, and he dropped it.
I think that's good.
Looks like BGA is 1. No, looks like CPA is 1. And they will defer. No, they will actually accept the ball. And I'm not exactly, I believe that we are facing east, which means that BGA will be defending the north end zone. Am I right? I got to get my.
I got a little topsy-turvy, discombobulated, if you will, on my drive in. So I'll get my geography about me here in a moment. But you cannot beat this backdrop.
It's the south end zone, excuse me.
We'll go north, we'll go south on this fateful Thursday night. They've got the inner Sandman blasting, CPA. We got a little bit of a a showdown right now as who's going to run out
Who's going
first.
to come out first, right? Look at there. A big 747 going over from the airport. How about that? 2 of them.
Flying right on by here.
Southwest Airlines.
Man.
I mean, flying in low.
It really is.
Didn't realize we were on the flight pad.
Yeah, CPA does blink first. They take the field, and here come the Wildcats now. BGA is going to wear royal blue tops with gold bottoms, blue helmets with royal gold trim. CPA's in white tops, white bottoms, gold helmets, purple numerals. 2 great teams, 2 great uniforms, 2 great coaching staffs. We didn't really dive into Jonas Rodriguez, by the way, the coach for BGA, who has been a longtime staple in Middle Tennessee, especially in Division II football. Named head coach in 2019 after a couple of years at Evangelical Christian School. And he also had coached at Innsworth, MBA, FRA, played his ball as a prep at MBA, and then went on to Yale at wide receiver. So 2 great head coaches, 2 great teams, a gorgeous backdrop. Scott Stewart, I don't know what more we could want on a Thursday night here, my friend.
Yeah, 2 Southwestern airplanes. Southwestern airplanes fly over as the teams run out.
I mean,
it's almost like a flyover at Titan Stadium.
The timing was impeccable, I will admit.
Got 2 really good teams, some really good ball players out there. I don't know what else we can ask for on a high school Thursday night to just kind of get us warmed up for tomorrow night, right?
Yep, got a great slate of games tomorrow all across the Main Street Preps universe.
Yeah. I was listening. By the way, if anybody's tuned in now, if you'll listen to the Main Street Media Radio at mainstreetmediaradio.com, before we've got it set up now where a lot of our pregame stuff that we do on Main Street Media TV and Main Street Media Radio plays before this. Wade's got a show that he does down in Giles County, and then we have a high school wrap-up preview show that we do every week. A lot of our counties have their own preview shows as well. So, and all of that played leading up to us. We're trying to get our programming kind of set for the radio, and that was something that we were able to get going this week. And I listened to it coming up. So, if you get a chance, mainstreetmediaradio.com is where you can pick that up.
That, my friends, was a smooth plug, my friend. Well done, Scott Stewart.
Well, shameless plug, if you will.
They finally are teeing this up. And just a hair past 7 o'clock, we are
right off of McHatcher Parkway, by the way, in case you're wondering where we are.
It had been a while since I'd been to the campus of BGA, so it's good to be back over here. And at 7:02, Toe Hazmat Leather, we are underway. A short kickoff going to be fielded on the near side hash by the lines and breaking out and busting loose into space all the way across the 40, out across the 50. And Weston Parker's still somehow on his feet. He's down finally at around the 29, maybe the 28-yard line. The junior Weston Parker caught that around the 10 and took off.
About a 60, what is that? About a 60-yard return. Kickoff return. Sets them up at the 25-yard line. So
how about that start for the Lions here? Here comes this vaunted Lion offense. They'll be in the shotgun for a good chunk of the ball game, if not the entirety here. And on 1st and 10, they go with a delayed give. And turning around and receiving the handoff and getting a couple of yards is Cruz Law. Law picking up a handful there. Maybe going to give him 6 or so on the tote there. Sets up 2nd and 4. Crowd a little subdued after that big kickoff, Scott.
Yeah, everybody was fired up until that young man got free, and they're lucky he didn't get all the way to the end zone. What they are.
So Streeter, the quarterback, calls for it. Got 2 in the backfield now. Turns, gives. Good job of cutting up and making the tackle there for BGA. A give over the right side, and jumping up was, I believe, Hammondtree.
Yeah.
The senior. Nice stop there. And it'll be shy of the sticks. So 3rd and 2 here now.
So they've been run heavy now with Law, and I can't imagine they would do anything else at this point than to hand him the ball to get this first down. They do have Evans split wide left on this one, along with Matthews over there on the slot.
Eli Dickey, the H-back, was in the backfield briefly. Now he trots over kind of as a blocker on the left side. They give to Laws, and a great tackle. Laws is stretching.
I think he got it.
Yeah, he just barely got the first down. Good job flying in from Max Reed, the junior, and he stopped him. Definitely saved a potential touchdown, but nearly stopped him shy, but it's a first down.
Just barely a first down, and that's 3 straight runs, 10 yards for Law. And we're seeing that linebacker core that's kind of depleted for BGA playing pretty good right now, doing a good job of stopping him just from breaking free. Now he's going to take the
Laws calls for the direct snap, and oh my word, huge collision right at the line of scrimmage as he went toe-to-toe with the linebacker Reed again. Reed's earning his paycheck right here. He has laid 2 vicious hits. He took the brunt of that lick right there, but again, not afraid to step up and make the tackle. Laws picks up 4.
4 carries for 14 yards so far for Law, and he's going to take the snap again, Wade.
This is a run-heavy drive, opening drive of this ball game. Student body to the left. There's only about 2 players on the whole right side of the field. Everybody motioning toward that far sideline for us. And Law is brought down. Good tackle there for BGA by Pittman.
Picked up about 4. It's going to be 3rd down again. We've been heavy with Law so far. It's 3rd and 2.
They mark it from the 7. 9 minutes to go, and now a little trickeration, and CPA is going to burst through. A little give in the backfield, faking everybody to the left, and then Rawls Patterson, the sophomore, just squirted loose on the right tackle there, and he busts into the end zone. 8:52 in the opening quarter. CPA marches down the field. The huge kick return set the drive up, and then they went all ground and pound for the opening score.
How was it? 7-yard run? Is that what that was? Okay, 7-yard touchdown run. Just like that, we've got a 7-0 score, Wade.
Extra point up, extra point is good. And so 8:52 left in this opening quarter. CPA strikes first. BGA will get the football when we come back. You're listening to Main Street Preps Thursday night high school football action, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Back in 30 seconds.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
CPA leads this contest. 25-yard touchdown drive. Short field set up by a big kickoff return from Weston Parker. And the Lions lead at 7-0. He's Scott Stewart. I'm Wade Neely saying hello.
Hello.
And now the Wildcats will get their hands on the ball here. Hammondtree, one of the return men. It lands short, and it is picked up by Christian Thompson. Thompson never really got a full head of steam. Good job defensively there by the Lions special teams unit, I should say. Yeah. And they bring Thompson down. BGA will take over. 8:49 left in the opening quarter, just around their own 20-yard line, maybe a little beyond.
So that CPA drive, Wade, was 25 yards, and took about a little over 3 minutes off the clock, or like 3:08 off the clock.
So Marable trots out now. Caden Marable, very talented, despite only a sophomore. This BGA attack has put up points. Had a great win versus Maplewood a few weeks ago. Also knocked off Nashville Christian. On 1st and 10, they fire in the slot, and it is caught by the Arnett Hayes, the young man we told you about in our pregame, the junior hauling it in. And a short little give. And Hayes does the rest, picking up about 6 yards. 2nd and 4 upcoming here. Hayes splitting out to the far side now. BGA is working right to left on your Main Street dials tonight in this first quarter. They turn and give on 2nd and 4 and bottled up in the backfield. As many as 3 Lions there coming up to make the stop.
Law.
Yeah, just absolutely flying to the football. Your boy Steele Chance was also in at the very end of the tackle there.
Right.
And it's going to be 3rd and 3, modest gain there. They maybe got lucky to get a yard.
Yeah, he ran into the 2 guys that carried the load on that offensive, both number 13 as well, along with Law, the young man that scored a touchdown. They're both in the middle linebacker spots, so inside linebacker spots.
3rd and 3, little off tackle here.
Good run, though.
And a great little burst over the right side, very near the first down. And, yeah, first down yardage picked up. That'll get a cheer from the hometown faithful. And Walker converts on 3rd down.
I tell you what, I can see one thing about the BGA offensive line. They got some good size on it, but look at the size of that defensive line for CPA. Look at that man in the middle. Good night of living.
1st and 10, they fire in the slot. Hayes does make the grab. He actually had to backtrack to grab it. And when he did so, he's unable to make up the ground on the reception there after the catch. And so he's going to lose about a yard officially there. Marable to Hayes. Loss of 1 officially, they mark it. 2nd and 11. 7-0 is your score. 6:46 left in this opening quarter. CPA marching thanks to a big kickoff return with a short field to pay dirt. Marable in kind of that short shotgun, a pistol formation as it were. Twin wideouts to his left. He's got a split into his right and a H-back to either side now as he rolls to his left, and he's looking downfield, and Hayes was never really open, so he chucks it out of bounds. First incompletion of the night for Marable.
2 for 3 now, 5 yards for Marable. That's and that's showing some poise for a sophomore quarterback. And if you've watched any of his highlights, you'll see it. He's got a lot of poise for a kid that's a sophomore. Really only had a couple of snaps. Played a couple of games late last year, and then has started every game this year so far, I think.
3rd and 11. This is a big point in this early game here. Marable, good protection, but it breaks down quickly. Flying off from the left side is Eli Dickey, and the sophomore makes the sack and drops BGA. They'll be forced to punt here with 6 minutes and the clock running. Straight drop back right there after we saw a couple of quick passes and then a rollout. And the protection was there initially, but they could not fend off a charging Eli Dickey who got in there for the sack.
Yeah, there was plenty of time, but the coverage was great, and that's really what got him sacked was more the coverage than anything else.
First time they've really tried to go downfield, as it were, after a couple quick passes, as I mentioned. So now it's 4th and 18.
Watch, this is the Matthews kid returning this punt right here.
Bringing it in at his own 41, cutting up field to around the 49, where a host of Wildcats, and the ball came loose at the end. I think we're going to look at forward progress being stopped here. BGA comes up with the ball. Yeah, it looked like the whistles were already being blown there. So BGA denied a chance at a late turnover there. A little bit better field position defensively to start this drive after the big special teams return to start the game. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 49.
Right.
5:19 to go. CPA leads 7-0. They had a methodical short drive on their opening possession. And here's our first pass attempt, and it is caught on that far side, about 4 yards shy of the sticks, but churning upfield and close to the first down. That's Leroy Harris, the third. We mentioned Harris, one of those undecided at the next level potential recruits for CPA.
Right.
Great job of running after the catch. Picked up the 4 yards he needed for the first down. They reset the chains. Officials they weren't even ready. CPA was ready to go quickly. And on 1st and 10, give up the middle, running now bouncing toward the right and stuffed yet again as Max Reed brought his lunch pail tonight, folks. That's the third big hit from Reed tonight. He brings down the ball carrier for a loss of about a yard. I think that might have been Patterson who scored the touchdown on the carry there.
They had 33 carrying the ball on that. That was Rawls. That was Patterson. Yeah, carrying the ball on that.
So 2nd and 11, they mark it. Turn, give. Now we're going to get a little roll out to the left, and Streeter fires incomplete. Streeter just looking downfield, had pressure bearing down despite the rollout, and coming down on him was Hennenberry, and it's incomplete. So 3rd and 11.
Well, that's another smart quarterback play right there. Of course, you expect it from a senior. He had both of his wide receivers on the left side recovered. He threw that ball in between the two of them, and they were because they were both covered. There was nowhere to throw the ball.
3rd and 11 here. 4:09 to go in the opening quarter. CPA trying to extend the drive, trying to maybe add to its 7-0 lead. 4 wideouts, 2 to either side for your quarterback, Braden Streeter.
Oh, goodness.
And this is caught a slant in a hurry, and hauling it in and running it in is Leroy Harris III. Harris, the ball was out in an instant. Harris had already beaten his man, made the grab, shed a would-be tackler at around the 25, and then ran untouched for the final bit of that. What a score. And on a 3rd and 11, that is a backbreaker early in this game as CPA pushes its lead 13-0 with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah. And man, what an impressive specimen of a ball player Harris is. I mean, he's head and shoulders taller than everybody else out there. And he caught that ball across the middle on a little slant, and they just didn't have a chance.
Ball was out in plenty of time, and Harris did the rest after making the catch. Extra point good. 14-0 is your new score. Scott and I will return with more Main Street Preps Thursday night high school game of the week coverage presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office in 30 seconds.
Let's visit with Laura from Moxie Pest Control.
What separates us from other companies in Tennessee, our mission to our customers is to always improve the quality of life. We're considered a full encompassing service, so we're going to take care of 50 plus different pests, and we'll always have your back.
Call Moxie Pest Control at 615-469-5710. That's 615-469-5710, or visit them at moxieservices.com.
Main Street Preps Thursday night game of the week coverage brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. CPA has extended its lead. It's now 14-0. A 40-plus yard, 41-yard touchdown catch for Harris. Streeter made a great throw as this kick is returned. Good little return there for the
Kristen
Thompson and the Wildcats.
Way that drive, 41. It's actually a 49-yard drive. Took about a minute 20 seconds off the clock. 4 plays, 4 plays. The big one being the 41-yard touchdown pass from Streeter to Harris.
So BGA definitely has its work cut out for itself now. They trail 14-0. Wildcats are going to they still have 4 wideouts in, but they're going to bunch them closer, and they're going to roll Marable out. Rolling to his left for the second time tonight. This time, the pocket was broken down immediately, and he just gets out of danger and cuts up field. I like the vision there. He still wanted to throw downfield, but finally, once that option was not available, he picked up officially 4 yards before he tucked out of bounds.
Yeah, and he just really shows a lot of maturity for a young man that, like I said, is only in his second year of high school. And he's out there against a lot of really good ball players right now.
2nd and 6 from the 30. Again, your score is 14-0. Now they stretch it back out after that bunch formation a moment ago. Give is in the backfield, and a nice carry in the backfield, but a great open field tackle. CPA flying to the ball. Steele Chance, the junior linebacker, slowed down the ball carrier. Walker never really got going. He might have gained a yard, but it might be a no gain. Either way, a promising play came up empty after a good tackle.
Yeah, it's 3rd and 6. The linebackers are downhill for CPA right now, and the line's doing a great job of actually holding them off a little bit, but it's tough. Nice pass.
Throw on 3rd and 6, slant over the middle and grabbed. Great grab for Arnett Hayes, who is the talented junior, kind of the real spark plug offensively, other Marable for this Wildcat offense, and a fresh set of downs. That is a much-needed 3rd down out to their own 43 now. 13-yard pickup. BGA, again, royal blue tops, gold bottoms. Great uniform combination tonight. CPA's in all white with purple and gold. 1st and 10, Marable. Play fakes. Now tosses long pass toward the far sideline. Hauled in by Hayes. And he is blasted out of bounds, but he picked up 3, maybe 4 yards. Kind of a long handoff right there. Just tossed it all the way over in the slot to make the grab.
Right, yeah, and you'll see that that's what they do is they kind of throw those lateral passes. They try to extend the game, the running game out to the edges, and then next thing you know, they'll do what they did just a minute ago, throw that slant across the middle. And you saw on that slant across the middle just how accurate he is with that ball. I mean, he hit him right on the numbers about 10, 15 yards down the field in traffic.
Long play call coming in here now. BGA's ready. Delayed handoff, trying to test the left side of the line. And the Lions had that play scouted out pretty well. Josh Jennings, the senior DB, he came up and he's going to get credit for the tackle, but the line play, as you've noted a couple times tonight, Scott, is very impressive up front for CPA.
Yeah. Their side, they've got the size. The offensive line, defensive line are pretty equal on size. Although that young man, I even kind of scared to even try to pronounce his name. Wade, number 54 out there. I'll let the professionals. Rocco Abaganero. Oh, look out! I did it.
I had faith in you the whole time. Here's a quick hitch route on the far side. Hayes kind of slips, and the pass is incomplete. So it's going to be 4th down. 4th and 4 from your own 49. Do you roll the dice? No, it looks like the punt unit's going to come out. CPA has started their 2 offensive drives from the BGA 25 and from right at midfield. So a chance to at least flip field position, I suppose, here. 1:49 to go.
Got to be real careful kicking to this kid. I'm telling you, like you said, that's the Matthews kid.
Jackson Matthews is back. He's going to haul it in. He does make the grab at his own 16. Loses 1, loses 2, lost 2.5. And finally, he gets out to the 30. Good little return. There was a flag, as Scott noted, that came in there. And after he lost the 2, there was about 10 bodies just converging right there. So I really haven't. This could be a flag on both teams.
Oh, is it?
I'm saying it could be. Yeah. I could see it going either way.
I think it's going to be a hold or blocking the back. Yeah, hold. No, face mask.
I was just going to say, I could see a face mask. There was so many bodies, but you're right. It could have easily been a hold or blocking the back as well.
Well, he got up in a scrum. You're right, and that's somebody just probably got their hand hooked up, and so they're going to be right back at the. Well, they're going to be 5 yards. They keep moving back on opening field position. Of course, they started at 20 on the other the BGA 25 to start off this game. Scored on that. Then they started to 49 on their last possession. Now they're back all the way back to the 44. They're not going to know what to do, having to start all the way back to the 44-yard line. Yeah, it's CPA.
It's shades of our contest earlier with James Lawson. Anytime they were backed up on their own side of the field, they struggled.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But CPA has looked great thus far. They lead at 14-0, and on 1st and 10.
Good play.
There. Nice give right there. BGA did a good job of flying to the football, but that's Joshua Mayernick, the senior, his first tote of the night.
Pick up 1. Good tackle out there by number 7 for GA. That's Park Ballish. I think he's one of those young men that have stepped in and with the absence of a few with some of the injuries that they have.
Yeah, if you missed our pregame, CPA's got an explosive offense, and BGA is working with a little of a limited roster tonight due to some injuries.
I mean, it'd be bad enough if you had everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? but they're down about 6 players.
They go to Marinick again.
Very good.
And good job flying to the football. As many as 4, maybe 5 Wildcats just swarming over there. Max Reed in on the tackle yet again. You can also toss in the big fella, Justice Pittman, who's a freshman out there playing, big number 55. Couple more converging.
Just got a feeling they're setting something up. Running that ball twice right up the middle like that. Watch out for Harris again out here, and also Matthews on this right side.
15 seconds to go in the first quarter. Streeter calls for it. Quarterback straight drop back, lofting a gorgeous deep ball over the head of everybody. Intended downfield for Matthews, but a pretty good coverage running step for step was Giannotti.
Going to have a holding call. I would say they're going to decline that, though, wouldn't you?
Holding against the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will decline it. And it's 4th and 8. And even as talented as CPA's offense is, I think they're going to wave the white flag a little and maybe punt. As I say that, no real punt unit has came out. The clock did stop with the incompletion. So something's going to have to give here. Either CPA is going to go for this or somebody's going to call a timeout.
They're going for it.
Streeter breaks the huddle. Unless this is a quick kick, we're looking at a 4th down, and now we do have a timeout. BGA had one man way back deep trying to maybe defend a quick kick. Now they burn the timeout. They're first. And with just 7 seconds, Scott, we'll stay right here. And we got to point out, good 3rd down stop defensively there after they were burned. BGA was on the previous defensive stand on 3rd down. So we're seeing a little signs of life. It's kind of taking them a drive or two to get going, but they are moments away from maybe their first real stop tonight.
Well, it's kind of like we saw at the Lawson game. The field position was already. I mean, it was already. They already had the deck kind of stacked against them, against this very, very talented CPA team. Not that BGA is not talented, but I mean, we ran off some of the folks and where they're going for CPA. They're also a very senior laden team. They're very big too. So you take all that, now you give them the ball at the 25-yard line going in, and that's a touchdown. Then you give them the ball at the 49-yard line, and they hit a big pass, a 41-yard pass. Now it's 14-0. Now you've kind of moved them back, and you do, like you say, you do a lot better job. You got these guys stepping in that haven't played a lot. Now they're stepping into their roles on the defense. They're able to stop them. Question is, are they going to stop them on a 4th down try, or are they going to stop them on a punt? And it looks like the offense is coming back out.
So if you're thinking maybe we'll take the timeout, maybe they'll reconsider and punt, guess again.
Harrison Matthews on the near side and Evans on the far side. How do you cover these guys?
4th and 8, biggest play of the game thus far. CPA will go for it near midfield. Unless maybe they think about their own timeout. But Streeter barking orders here. He's calling for the snap. This should be the final play of the quarter. He's going to drop back, looking in the near side. It is hauled in. Catch made. An initial tackle missed. And that is a tough stop there, as that goes begging, I should say, as Will Carroll, the tight end, kind of forgotten about on the far side. And he hauls it in for 1st down yardage.
Yep.
And that does take us to the end of the first quarter. So CPA puts up 14 points, and they're on the move. Let's see if BGA can bow up defensively. They've got their hands full, but it's been a great ball game thus far. We step aside after the first quarter. We're back in 30 seconds where it's CPA 14, BGA 0. You're listening to Main Street Prep's Thursday Night Football Game of the Week coverage presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Watch it! Did that guy even see that girl on her bike?
Just like looking for other cars before switching lanes, drivers should keep their eyes out for those traveling on bikes. When a crash occurs between a vehicle and a bike, it's the cyclist who is most likely to be injured. Give cyclists room and do not pass too closely. Riders have the same rights and responsibilities as those behind the wheel.
Be aware, be alert. Brought to you by THSO, the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Well,
Second quarter here, set to begin. Alongside Scott Stewart, I'm Wade Neely. We're having a good old time here. Justin Kulik's our producer. It's good to be back with us.
Man, yeah, we were off last week.
Yep.
It was already planned, but it worked out good because I had family stuff I had to do. Took my son to college, so I wasn't going to be here. It just worked out better that way. I got to say this about what just happened. You know, we talked a lot about how BGA had done just a good job of holding them to 4th down and long, and then they just hit that's debilitating for a defense, for a team that's already getting beat 14-0. You know, it's just real tough.
They kind of had their backs broken on 3rd down on the previous drive.
Right.
Now it happens to them on 4th down. Can BGA recover from the 42? Streeter's loading up and going long.
And he got him.
Wow. Evans will haul it in, a 42-yard dime. It was a great throw, but it was maybe an even better catch.
Man, it was on. I mean, it was good coverage. He was there right there with him, but he dropped it on a dime, and Evans went up and got it. And, yeah, you're right. It's the catch was probably more impressive than the throw. But, man, we're getting to see some really good football as far on the CPA side. And nothing against BGA. They're doing their best, obviously, against some really talented football players tonight.
Whew, an impressive throw and catch there. After a first rushing touchdown, CPA is now struck for 2 aerial scores, and the extra point makes it 21-0. 11:53 to go in the second quarter. BGA set to receive. We'll come back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Main Street Prep's Thursday night football game of the week coverage presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Welcome back to the Guffey Brown Stadium here on the campus of BGA. 2-2 Wildcats taking on the 3-1 CPA Lions, and it's been all Lions thus far. It's got to be maddening if you're head coach Jonas Rodriguez for BGA, because you see some positive signs of life. You're just not quite making that key stop defensively that you're looking for, and that's why the Lions are up 3 scores.
Right, yeah. I mean, you figured they scored on a 3rd down play, got a first down on a 4th and 8, and then the next play just dropped a bomb on them from 42 yards out. That was by the way, 5-yard drive. 5-play drive for 56 yards, and the touchdown being on that 42-yard touchdown pass.
So Streeter now with 2 touchdown passes of 40 yards in length. And the Wildcats a little stunned here. We knew it was going to be a stiff test for this up-and-coming BGA program. And we have a high snap. It gets over the head of Marable. He does fall on it, but he's back at his own 12-yard line.
Basically lost 20 on that.
Things kind of going from bad to worse here for the hometown Wildcats. And we'll get – you don't really have a ton of plays, I would imagine, in your playbook.
Actually, 15 on that. I'm sorry. My bad.
2nd and 25. I mean, this place is stunned right now.
Yes.
Marable calls for it in the pistol.
Watch it.
Oh, my. Whew, like a runaway milk truck just off the left side. Harris, like Scott said, came flying in, virtually untouched. And we have a lineman down for the Wildcats. And that is not good. This team's already been kind of decimated with injuries, as we mentioned a time or two. That's Zach Sizemore who's down.
I'll tell you, that was one of those plays where you almost can feel like somebody could have got hurt really bad. I mean, yeah, the young lineman got hurt, but I'm talking about the quarterback could have got hurt bad because Leroy Harris III, nobody touched him. And he was coming off that left side to his blind side. He looked up, and there comes all he could see was 31 in his. He couldn't see anything but a big 31 coming at him. So Yeah, that's the reason why I yelled. Kind of got nervous there for a minute that I didn't want to see him get hurt real bad because he could have got crushed right there. Young man is getting up on his own. He's limping off. He's on his own power, but he's not running any sprints right now. That's for sure.
And the bad part is, as we mentioned, losing more yardage. We've mentioned the injury issues. And this is not a team that you can really afford to have any depth or miscues of any sort. CPA will prey upon that. And they have done so thus far. They lead at 21-0. If you're BGA now, you're thinking just hopefully 3rd and 37. This is third and close to Spring Hill, as we would say, Scott Stewart.
Yeah, maybe Columbia.
Yeah, close to Columbia even. And they'll just turn around and give a draw. And they
Maybe
actually,
going backwards.
yeah, they might lose a yard on the draw there. CPA had as many as 4 guys flying to the ball. And the Lions just dominating the line of scrimmage right now. Steele Chance, one of the final ones in to make the tackle. And now you're going to have to punt from deep in your own end zone.
Yeah, this is just a series that BGA is going to want to forget. They'll be lucky. They probably won't even get the ball past where the first down would have been. And Matthews is back here about his 37-yard line. And now there's a line drive punt. This has got danger all over it.
Matthews briefly stumbles, but now he gathers his footing. He's out across the 40. And a good open field tackle right there. Stepping up for the Wildcats was Henneberry, the senior linebacker. That probably saved a touchdown. Matthews is so explosive. Headed to UT, kind of as a preferred walk-on. But that name carries a lot of weight, and he certainly's got the game to back it up here. And his return has CPA with another short field, 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line.
Yeah, they finally got their good field position back. Had to start both their other ones on the other side of the 50. Nice hold.
Yeah, I lost sight of the ball there briefly. There's 4 players now converging defensively. Big Justice Pittman, number 55. He's one of the easier ones to spot. Julius Pittman, I should say. Well, they credit Julius Pittman, but Justice Pittman was in on the tackle as well. 55 and 65 combining there.
The big men up front.
As we've said a couple times, it's not as if BGA is devoid of talent here. They just have really ran into a buzzsaw like a lot of teams have.
Nice.
As a nice.
Oh, missed the tackle.
Yeah, nice read there initially from the Wildcats. But I want to say it's Patterson who had the initial touchdown tonight. Somehow he kept his legs moving and got all the way out to the 10 and pick up about 13 yards there.
I believe the first touchdown was by Steele Chance.
You got Chance on the TD?
Number 13. I think he carried on that touchdown. He picked up, let's see, what did he pick up there? About 10 yards. Close enough.
And
First and go.
Yeah, they're going to drop the stick, so it'll be a goal-to-go situation. 8:38 to go till halftime. CPA leads 21-0. Quick snap, toss, great grab by Evans. And Evans is in a small foot race here down the near sideline, trying to tiptoe in, and he does. Great run after catch. And, Scott, you could hear the ball whistling as it got over to Evans, and even more so you could hear the pop when Evans made that great snag. Yep. And then he immediately turns upfield and races toward the near side pylon. It is 27-0. CPA is flawless tonight offensively thus far.
Yeah. I don't know if the coach is going to be able to have any kind of no good on the extra point. Maybe that's what the coach will be mad about tonight is the extra point didn't go through, because that's really Engel Martin is not going to have a whole lot of coachable moments because his team is clicking on all cylinders right now.
CPA is flying. The extra point is no good, but the score is 27-0. 8:24 to go. We're in the second quarter. BGA will get the football when Scott and I return. You're listening to Main Street Prep's Thursday night high school game of the week coverage here from the Murphy Stadium. We'll be back in just a second, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Let's visit with Laura from Moxie Pest Control.
What separates us from other companies in Tennessee, our mission to our customers is to always improve the quality of life. We're considered a full encompassing service, so we're going to take care of 50 plus different pests, and we'll always have your back.
Call Moxie Pest Control at 615-469-5710. That's 615-469-5710. Or visit them at moxieservices.com.
Tennessee Highway Safety Office, proud sponsor of Main Street Prep's Thursday night coverage of high school football. BGA is going to return it out to their own 25. And it is all CPA thus far, 8:18 to go. And
BGA just not getting anything going their way at all. They're like we said, they run into a really talented team that's just firing off on all cylinders offensively. Defensively, they did move the ball a couple on that one drive, but this last drive they had was just a disaster, and they lost like 30 yards on that drive. And so now they're going to go real tight with just two wide outs.
Marable kind of glancing toward the far sideline, orchestrating a receiver in motion. Play fake here on 1st and 10. He scrambles toward his left. There's an intended receiver over there on the far sideline, but that was really more of a throwaway than anything, and it's incomplete. Sets up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, he's got a little time to throw, but the coverage is really good. And so that's really what's getting him in trouble.
They're really high on this sophomore quarterback, though. If you've been with us the whole night, you've heard this, but if you haven't tuned in till just now, this is a up-and-coming BGA roster. They're sitting here at 2-2.
I think the referees were talking about whether that was intentional grounding, which it really wasn't because there was a receiver in the area.
Yeah, there was a receiver.
A
couple of yards away.
A couple of yards of it. But it looks like that's what they were talking about.
Doing their due diligence, I suppose. Which we like to see.
The bad thing is you got to cover Evans on one end, on one side of the field, and he's playing cornerback on the other side of the field. I mean, that's tough out there.
Give on 2nd and 10. BGA is going to run to the right. And Coleman, the junior back, not much luck on that right side. BGA had a lineman go down on their last drive. Trying to see.
And he's not back out there.
Yeah, yet. I was going to say, trying to see if
at least I don't
Sizemore has returned, number 70. Doesn't look like he is out there.
Got trips now, 2 to the left, 1 to the right.
27-0 your score here. BGA desperately needs this first down. Looking, pocket breaking down. Oh, my goodness. Not one, but two. CPA.
I wonder if they may have accidentally got his face mask. It looked like maybe somebody accidentally got a face mask.
Abagnaro and McGarry.
Abagnaro's huge.
Made combined for the sack there.
They don't have sizes on these rosters. I'd like to see. He's what, 6'5" easy, right? Face mask. Yeah, I thought that was what I saw. Somebody accidentally. It wasn't on purpose, but that's going to give them a first down. At least gives BGA a chance to take a breath. Get the ball out as probably the furthest they've been tonight to the 41, where they'll get a 1st and 10. Yeah, one of those guys accidentally hooked their hands in his face mask.
You asked about big Rocco Abagnaro. They got him. He's listed on Huddle at 6'4", 260.
I mean,
that may be shortchanging it a little bit.
He's the biggest guy out there. I mean, look at him. He is a full head over taller than anybody else out there.
So the face mask gives them a fresh set of downs. 1st and 10. BGA approaching midfield here at the 41. Shifting some personnel around. They got a couple of tight ends in to potentially block here from Marable, who will throw on 1st and 10. A little pump and go. Now he looks to his right and misfires there. Had something downfield you like, Scott, but let's check everything. Now, there's a late penalty. And Hayes was the intended receiver. And grounding is called.
No, it was roughing the passer.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, roughing the passer. I'm sorry, folks. I was getting ready to hop on my soapbox for a second because I was like, Hayes was in the area just as much as the previous play that they discussed. So back-to-back penalties. You asked about head coach Ingle Martin and maybe what you want to tidy up. Well,
now he's got something to coach, right?
Yeah.
Coaches are always, they want to win, but they're always looking for something to coach. So here we go.
I'm not going to say he's happy about these 2 penalties, but you're right. He kind of is looking for just a little extra mojo to kind of gas his team up maybe at halftime, because those have been really the only 2 mistakes they've made.
Yeah. It's been a CPA kind of night so far here at BGA, and 21-0, by the way, is your score, as CPA has scored 3 out of their 4 possessions. Right? Did they punt? Have they punted? No. But they have had 4 possessions.
Yep, they scored. The closest we got was the potential punt that they elected to go for it on 4th down late in the first quarter. But,
I'm sorry. It's 27-0, so they've scored on all 4 there. Excuse me, I didn't get down that 4th touchdown. So they've scored on all 4 of their possessions tonight. A couple of passes so far to Andre Evans, 1 pass to Leroy Harris III. And then I've got the young man Chance Steele running it in for 25 on the 7-yard touchdown run earlier to start the game out. So sorry about that.
After the timeout, 6:48 to go till halftime.
Be nice if I look at the scoreboard. They got a nice scoreboard. All I got to do is look at it, right?
We got a good view of it here. Your angle's a little tougher than mine, I will admit, as they turn and give on 1st down. Ooh. And a little bit of yardage. Nice little burst there. CPA, that's Cruz Law flying to the ball. Looked like Jacob Coleman on the carry, and he earns just a yard.
Cruz, of course, the guys that are, anybody that's just joined us, Cruz Law basically ran the first 6 or 7 plays and set up that first touchdown for CPA, running pretty much out of a wildcat, taking direct snap for that whole first drive and then Strader came in through 3 touchdown passes. So that's kind of how we got where we are.
Yeah, if you just tuned in for the first drive, you're thinking, all right, the Lions are just a dominating run team, and then it's been all passing ever since. Marable will fake in the backfield. He's loading up a wobbler toward the sideline, nearly caught, then nearly intercepted. It was in and out of the hands of Hayes and then in and out of the hands of Evans.
That's the last person you want out there, Evans, with that ball floating around like that, man, with the hands that he's shown and the moves he's shown. If he could have pulled that in, he would have been gone, and he would have had 2 touchdown passes and an interception for a touchdown at that point. That was a duck. I think Marable has gotten himself a little rattled tonight. That happens with that can happen with a sophomore who's been under duress the way he has tonight.
Evans is an LSU commit. Also had offers from Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina State, all in the mix. He's an elite playmaker. 3rd and 9. Somehow this is caught and not falling to a knee. What a great snag right there by Hayes. I'm talking picked it up right off the top of his shoe right there on his shoelaces, and then he stretches at the end, 3rd and 9, and he's just shy of the sticks. What an individual effort, though, from Hayes.
Yeah, and put him in position to go for 4th down and 1 here.
BGA will get the football to start the second half. So a chance to maybe claw back in this. 5:15 to go. Second quarter, it's 27-0. CPA leads. 4th and 1. Give is up the middle.
He ain't going to get it.
That is going to be close. It'll depend on the spot. And I think that Walker, man, that's a little bit of a tough break. It looked like Walker landed on the body of the defender, and his momentum kind of carried him to the 1st down marker. And we're going to have to see. They're going to rule this. This is CPA's ball, which is obviously not.
Well, he had
sorry, I was just getting ready to point out, though. They spot the ball, by the way, which would have been long enough for the 1st down. So 2 things can't be true right there. They either shorted a yard to CPA, or it should be BGA's 1st down.
Yeah, he didn't get to where the first down marker was. I don't know why they spotted it where they did, but
they brought it back a full yard on first and 10.
That was 24.
I'm still kind of just flabbergasted by that right there. I'm just making sure I'm not seeing things, partner. I've worked a couple of local games recently where that's kind of been the norm, so just making sure I'm not seeing things.
No, you're not seeing things.
And it's 2nd and 4 now. Good little carry.
I mean,
right
we've seen teams lose a yard on penalties. I mean, on whenever a ball is put back down and stuff. So yeah, it's tough for referees sometimes too, Wade. Just to be real honest.
And they've called a clean, nice
have.
game. I'm just giving them a little bit of a hard time there. Marinick is kind of back in as your spell back here. He runs on first down, now runs again on 2nd. And Pittman's plural come off. Justice and Julius both trotting toward the sideline.
55-65 running off for your they're 2 of your 3 down linemen. Both these teams run a 3-4 defense. 3 down linemen with 4 linebackers behind them.
Looks like BGA may be looking for a little more speed here or a little more secondary coverage. 3rd and 3. Will the Lions pass it? No, they turn and give, and a huge hole right up the middle. And Mayernick breaks one tackle. Now he's into the next level, and he's going to run and run and run all the way in for a 58-yard touchdown. Mayernick bursting right up the middle, right where the hole was vacated by the 2 interior linemen.
Yep.
And then once he got into the next level, he was off to the races. And it's been that kind of night for BGA, unfortunately. They've played so well at times, but just have not been able to get the key stops.
Yeah, and the sea parted for him right there. He, like you said, he came right through the hole that was left there by the 2 big linemen that came out. And there's a couple guys had a chance to catch him in the secondary, but he had enough of a head of steam up that he just couldn't catch. They couldn't bring him down. He was gone.
John West is the PAT kicker. He converts. He's made 4 of 5 as that one is good. And your new score is CPA 34, BGA nothing. 3.5 minutes to go till the break. Scott and I'll be back right after this. You're listening to Main Street Preps Thursday night game of the week coverage presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Back in 30 seconds.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
3:34. All that remains here in the second quarter. Alongside Scott Stewart, I'm Wade Neely saying hello. This is the Main Street Preps Thursday night game of the week, presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. High kickoff, fielded at around the 15, and the ball came loose, but they say the return man stepped out of bounds.
Very fortunate.
Very, very fortunate as Thompson, the sophomore, lost possession, but he stepped out of bounds. So BGA will take back over.
No, they called him down.
Or down.
And to be honest with you, I don't think he was. But
I was getting ready to say, look,
I think the referee took a little mercy on him at that point.
I had a better time believing he might have somehow stepped out of bounds than he did being down, because you're right, it didn't look like he was down. But it's 34-0. BGA kind of moved the ball a little bit thanks to 2 penalties on the last drive.
Did get into CPA territory and really we're just, as we said, just a yard short, depending on who's marking it.
We'll be chuckling about that for a few weeks to come.
All
I think,
the way
still.
home, that's right.
As Hayes is going to make the grab in the slot, and he picks up minimal yardage after the catch. So a gain of about 4. 3:10 to go. 2nd and 6. BGA will get Hunter's Lane here at home next week. And CPA will host Good Pasture. We'll give you a note on our schedule after this 2nd and 6 here. Late in the second quarter. Play fake. A lot of pressure. Marible's going down, and the ball came loose at the end of that. I think
it's going to be a fumble.
Yeah, I think BGA latched onto it. And I think the running back, I want to say Webster might have bailed him out there. Correction, that is Coleman, I think, that ends up coming up with the ball. There was so much pressure in the backfield, it almost looked like it was a screen that was developing, where you're yielding the yardage there, but it was not a screen. And so Maribel tried to step up in the pocket, and he was dropped. 3rd or 4th sack tonight already for these Lions. Man, they are ferocious on defense.
And he scares me because he's not – it's like he doesn't see him coming. And like the one time when here comes Harris again.
Rolling to his right, Maribel intended for Hayes over his head. And we're looking at a punting situation here with a minute 47 to go. Scott, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but after we were off last week, we're off next Thursday, but we're going to make it up to everybody because we got a showdown coming up at the end of the month. It's going to be Oakland and Siegel time.
Oh, look out. Now.
And you and I were looking forward to this game for a while, but I think we both are really looking forward to that game as well, which is going to be a Donnybrook in Murfreesboro.
Right. Having come up through MTSU, both of us having come up through MTSU, of course, whenever I came through, there wasn't a Siegel, but there was an Oakland and there was a Riverdale. So, I'm fired up about that.
Matthews is back deep to return. He will get a chance to return. Kind of catching it over his shoulder at around the 35. He brings it right near midfield to the 49. And Matthews kind of jawing right there. Will Evans, the senior. 2 seniors kind of having a friendly little conversation there. So a minute 36 to go. The bad news for BGA is they're at midfield, and CPA's offense has been so efficient tonight. Unless you want this thing to really get out of hand, you're going to have to play your absolute best here defensively. It's not going to be an easy final minute and a half.
No, it's not. You can't let down, or else it'll be in the 40s before you know it.
Streeter will give to a new back. And what a great little run there.
Right.
Like a little bowling ball in the backfield right there for Preston Patterson, the sophomore.
I would think, and he's going to have picked up, 15, 14 yards?
Minute 28 to go, they say, on the clock here. CPA has 2 timeouts remaining. There is a screen hauled in by Patterson. This kid is just running wild, and my goodness, he got a great block about 10 yards downfield, and that was all it took to spring Patterson for the touchdown.
38 yards, is that what that was?
The Lions, that was a well-executed screen pass right there and blocked beautifully downfield. CPA, this offense is just lethal, and they extend their lead. It's 40-0 with a minute 16 to go. And now they got a new kicker out here. You don't often see the kicker. That's Gray Siebert, by the way, the senior. You don't really see the kickers with a neck roll very often. But big number 71, Siebert, is out there. Most menacing kicker I can recall seeing in a while, and he drills the PAT. So it's 41-0, Scott.
That's 3 touchdown passes for Streeter. We talked a lot about Maribel coming in, and look, the Streeter's got something that Maribel doesn't have. He's got a man that's going to a Power 5 school that's caught 2 of those touchdown passes.
And blocked very well on that one on the screen pass.
Exactly
just now.
Right, yeah. So
doing the little things.
I mean, it's not just Evans that he's got. He's got a lot of talent around him, and a lot of like I said to start this game. Not only it's one thing to have a lot of talent, it's another thing to have a lot of senior talent. And CPA is loaded, packed, and stacked with a lot of senior talent. BGA, as we talked about, already had 6 people hurt, and it was going to be a tough road to hoe if they were for them to even stay with CPA with all of their players healthy. But now you got a lot of underclassmen playing that wouldn't usually play, so that's why we end up at 40. 1-0 here as we get ready to go to this halftime.
Kick is returned out to around the 31. Seibert was the kicker as well on that after he kicked the PAT a moment ago. And for Coach Rodriguez, again, your team has showed promise, 2-2. Kind of maybe feeling like we could have a little game on our hands here. And CPA has obviously led every step of the way tonight. BGA has played, especially on the first couple drives, kind of played well enough to give you some signs of life. But then things just got away from them. And on 1st and 10, looks like the Wildcats are just going to run and try and maybe get this thing to halftime as limited to damage as possible if that were the case.
A couple yards there on the run. They're going to try to run up the middle and run this clock out. I don't think CPA is going to try to stop them. Be surprised to see anything other than a handoff here to get to the halftime. Stop the onslaught that they've had to deal with here in this first half is the BGA.
They'll snap it, 2nd and 8. Yeah,
take
we
that
stand
back.
corrected. They're going to throw. Marable fires, caught just beyond the sticks. Great grab downfield for Hammondtree. The senior caught it about 2 or 3 yards beyond the 8 needed, and he picks up a few more. The clock is stopped with 17 seconds to go. BGA has it at their own 41 and 46, I should say, and they're not burning the timeout here. Thought maybe you might try and get another play in. They may not even snap. They do snap it with 1 second. They throw a Hail Mary, as it were, and Evans may have been the one to knock that away right there. It was intended for Hayes downfield. Arnett Hayes couldn't haul it in, and that deflection brings us to halftime. It has been all CPA, folks. 41-0. BGA was game for the challenge, I think, offensively and somewhat defensively on the first drive or two. But once they started falling further behind, CPA has poured it on.
Yeah.
The only thing really is a couple of penalties and a missed PAT, about the only thing keeping CPA from a flawless first half.
Yeah, and like we were talking about earlier, Wade, it's one of those games where, when you're a head coach or any head coach, assistant coach, whatever, you want to be able to point at something and say, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Of course, I'm sure there's a spot or two where they'll find somebody didn't step up to where they wanted them to be, but for the most part, your team's played flawless, and really, there's not a lot more you can say about it. CPA came out with the talent and the experience, and they've used it. A lot of times, you see a team come in with the talent and experience, and they don't live up to it. That's not the case tonight. And BGA, there's nothing wrong with their effort. Let's just say that. Let's make sure we say that for sure, because they have come out and played extremely hard with what they have against the team that they're having to play. You called it earlier. It's a buzzsaw.
Yeah, and you made a great point. CPA, I haven't witnessed them firsthand for a number of years, calling games in our neck of the woods versus Giles County. They don't make mistakes. And as you said, you see teams that with talent a lot of times be their own worst enemy, but very rarely do the Lions shoot themselves in the foot. And so you got to play at your absolute best. BGA has played fairly well at times, but they haven't been at their best, and they also haven't been at full strength. And that is kind of a recipe for disaster as it's 41-0. Scott and I are going to step aside. We'll take a 2-minute timeout. When we come back, we will break things down from the first half, and we'll swing it around our scoreboard across the state tonight, and then also get you prepped for your Friday night games. All that and much more as it is halftime here at Battleground Academy, where the CPA Lions lead at 41-0. We're back right after this.
At Dixon Tater Shack, we take loaded baked potatoes to a whole new level. We're not just any potato joint, we're the best this side of the Mason-Dixon line. Whether you're a traditionalist who loves classic flavors or a culinary adventurer seeking bold new combinations, we've got you covered. located at 728 East College Street. Dine in or take out. Follow us on Facebook. Call us at 615-740-7111.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Complete Service Heat and Air is a trusted provider of top-notch heating and cooling solutions dedicated to ensuring optimal comfort and efficiency for residential and commercial spaces. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties.
Let's visit with Laura from Moxie Pest Control.
What separates us from other companies in Tennessee, our mission to our customers is to always improve the quality of life. We're considered a full encompassing service, so we're going to take care of 50 plus different pests, and we'll always have your back.
Call Moxie Pest Control at 615-469-5710. That's 615-469-5710. Or visit them at moxieservices.com.
Welcome to the GR Group at Cry Like Realtors. Our team is comprised of seasoned veterans, military spouses, and other real estate professionals with strong ties to the military community. We specialize in helping our clients buy and sell homes, as well as providing comprehensive services for commercial and land properties. Whether you're relocating to the area, interested in buying or selling a home, or looking for commercial or land properties, the GR Group has the expertise and resources to help you achieve your real estate goals. Contact the GR Group today.
Nothing is your score here at the break. CPA leads the BGA Wildcats in this one. It has not been a pretty night, unfortunately, for BGA. And Scott has gone down to the field to check on some final stats from our first half. He'll return shortly, but I'm Wade Neely saying hello. Justin Kulik, the great one, our producer. And it has been all CPA. There's no denying that. But if you've been with us, Scott and I really, it may sound as if we're kind of sugarcoating it for BGA a little bit. But they did play well at times in the first half. But unfortunately for them, CPA has played at an exceptionally high level the entirety of the first half. So CPA does pull out this 41-0 lead. Streeter, the quarterback, has thrown 3 touchdowns, 2 deep balls to Evans, and then right toward the end of the half, dumped a little screen pass off to Preston Patterson, who rumbled in from about 35 yards out. And the Lions just have really poured it on. A little over 300 yards, I think, offensively in that first half for the Lions. PGA will get you their official numbers coming up here in just a couple of moments, but it has been a dominant first half for the Lions, and we'll be looking at a rolling clock situation here in the second half. So this one could go potentially quickly. As we mentioned, we're off next Thursday. So we're off the first Thursday in September. We're off the third Thursday in September. But we're making it up for you guys because we have Siegel and Oakland on the docket. And what that is going to be a flat-out battle in Murfreesboro on September the 28th. That is going to be one that you will not want to miss. We'll be live for that one. Still got some other good contests coming up later in the year. Franklin, I want to say it's Ravenwood and Franklin will be on our schedule a little bit later as we kind of are glad to kick off what has been a fun ride. We had 3 really good highly competitive ball games up to this point. This has been the only one that's kind of been a lopsided affair. Speaking of scores, this is not the only game. It's one of the only games in Middle Tennessee tonight, but there are several being played across the state. And a quick scoreboard update over in East Tennessee. Powell 28, Clinton 7. Mitchell, this is now over in West Tennessee. I'm crisscrossing on you guys here. Mitchell leading MLK Prep Memphis 44-0. There are 3 or 4 other games in the Memphis area that we don't have scores for yet. We will get you a score hopefully a little bit later as Grundy County is playing Providence Christian. Grundy County is 3-0, including a win at Huntland earlier this year. So the Yellow Jackets, again, taking on Providence Christian. That game's being played in Murfreesboro, so we will try and get you a score. So a limited slate tonight. And then tomorrow, we'll get ready to roll into tomorrow night's schedule. I mentioned to you guys, he went down to the field to make sure everything was good. Everybody on the sidelines good, Scott?
Yeah, everybody's great.
Okay, good. While we were doing that, we mentioned this is really one of the only games in the mid-state being played tonight.
Right.
Grundy County, who's a foe of Giles County, our normal broadcast on Friday nights. We'll see them later this year. They're playing Providence Christian. But a bevy of games tomorrow night. And we're kind of starting – we've kind of been fortunate with the weather. We only had that one hot week 2. But we're kind of starting to really get into that nice, crisp kind of fall football weather, as it were.
I don't know if I've ever been as miserable as I was at Marshall County. And I usually say that every time I go to Marshall County. But anyway,
I see what you did there.
I love my friends in Marshall County. But it was hot. That was a hot. And then the third week, too, was pretty hot, but it wasn't as bad as that second week. But this is great right here.
This feels fantastic. Scott, some other games of interest. All these will be coming your way tomorrow. These are games that were featured on your Main Street Preps predictions for the week.
Okay.
Another Division II big showdown. Lipscomb Academy. Obviously, we know they've been struggling this year. They get their hands full tomorrow night versus Innsworth. And kind of glancing through our staff predictions, it's kind of a mixed bag. I went with Lipscomb 31 and an upset, maybe as it were, over Innsworth. That's going to be a big showdown right here in the Williamson County, Davidson County area.
Right.
Another big showdown. Independence travels to Beach tomorrow night.
Beach finally back at their stadium.
With the Sumner County
Shackle Island Stadium, I think is what they call it.
The facilities fiasco is hopefully put to rest, at least at that school. Or
well, I don't know about the rest of them. I think I heard one of our guys when I was coming up, as I said a while ago. I listened to some of our Main Street Media shows coming up on MainStreetMediaRadio.com, and I think I heard some of the Sumner County. Our Sumner County reporters say that they're going to be back at Beach. So.
Good. We hopefully have as many of those issues resolved as possible. Other games tomorrow night, I should say. Columbia Academy travels to DCA. A lot of our staff is basically predicting DCA to win that one. We got one outlier.
Uh-oh.
I ain't going to say he's a homer, but our man Chris Yao says don't sleep on Columbia Academy. He says they win that game tomorrow night 27-21. So
really,
we shall see. Columbia Academy.
Who are they playing?
Playing DCA tomorrow night. Who's going to be a tough opponent. How about this? We did the James Lawson game a couple weeks ago. We talked about how they had gotten off to a fast start as a new school.
Yeah.
Kirkwood is another new school from Clarksville. They've gotten off to a fast start. They're undefeated, but they play Dixon County tomorrow night on the road. And a lot of our staff writers, there's a few Kirkwood predictions, including our good friend Mo Patton. But a lot of folks are saying that Dixon County is going to pull that game out tomorrow night.
Yeah, and like you say, a lot of these new schools. We went to James Lawson. James Lawson was kind of a different kind of new school because it was mostly
pre-established
Hillwood students, but they hit the ground running. I haven't checked back to see how they've done. I imagine they kind of may have dropped off a little bit.
It was no slouch, though. They lost 35-0, but it was to Centennial, who's a good program traditionally.
Yeah. So anyway, you got two new schools, quote unquote, new schools that are going to be facing each other. So that's always interesting. There's a lot of these new schools popping up, Wade. We talked about the fact that when I left Murfreesboro, there were 2 high schools there, although they were built in Blackman, I think, when I left. Now there's just in Murfreesboro, there's 4 schools, right? Siegel, Blackman, Riverdale, Oakland,
Rockvale.
So,
and you got Eagleville kind of waiting in the wings. That area continues
and that doesn't
to
even
explode.
count Smyrna and Laverne, which we were at Laverne this year. So all those new schools popped up. Now up in Clarksville, you got all those schools popping up now. You got Kirkwood's popped up. You got your Northwest and your Northeast of course in Montgomery County there, it's Montgomery Central. So yeah, there's a lot of new schools that have popped up around here that since I kind of left the mid-state football scene and come back, and it's pretty interesting to watch these schools when they get started, because the one that we covered at Laverne, the West Creek, that was a newer school. It wasn't brand new. I think it was in the last 15 or 20 years that it came.
Correct. Yeah, so, West Creek. That was to
me, that's new. Yeah.
That was the newest school prior to Kirkwood. So that's going to be a big showdown. Kirkwood is at Dickson County. Other games tomorrow night. Joe Burns goes to East Robertson. Everybody predicting East Robertson. And we see this a lot, especially at the smaller levels. If you got a really good football or basketball team, you kind of have success on the other. And East Robertson, after their great success, even in baseball, they are predicted to handle Joe Burns pretty easily tomorrow night. That'll be a fun one. Another big Division II showdown. Father Ryan has been on fire to start the year. MBA has gotten off to a very slow start. MBA will travel to Father Ryan just up the road from where we sit right now. That game comes your way tomorrow night. Siegel will travel to Hendersonville tomorrow night. That will be a fun showdown. And then a game that's kind of a toss-up. Green Hill, newer school, like you mentioned, only in their 4th or 5th year of existence.
But they're showing out this year, man.
Playing very well. They've traveled to Lebanon, and that is going to be a tough game. A lot of the staff was kind of divided on that game, so we'll keep our eyes on that. A good old-fashioned set of Murfreesboro battles as Blackman goes to Oakland tomorrow night.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Blackman, but everybody's picking Oakland, one of the better teams in the state, regardless of classification. Rockvale, the newest school in Murfreesboro, they travel to Riverdale, and a lot of folks, it's a sweep, as it were. Everybody's predicting Riverdale to knock off Rockvale.
That Rockvale's amazing to me. Whenever I was going to school in Murfreesboro at MTSU, the Rockvale was nothing more than a place I drove through to get to Murfreesboro. And now it's so big that they've got their own high school. It just blows my mind. It's I know everybody's saying who cares, but it's amazing to me that there's 5 schools now in Murfreesboro. And one of them was where I used to drive through.
And the ones that are getting built bigger and bigger. You ride by and you're like, wait a second, that's not a school, but it looks like a 5-star hotel.
Right.
But yes, as we saw with the brand new James Lawson. So that's the stint of our Main Street Preps predictions, the games on our prediction log. Another big game. We're going to bow up and show a little love for us on the south end of Middle Tennessee. If you love small high school football action, you will not find a better game across the state tomorrow night, I can promise you, than when Richland hosts Cornersville. They call it the Battle of Buford Station,
because that's the name of the road between the two of them.
Connected in about Chris Bledsoe, our colleague, we looked it up. 14.8 miles is all that separates the two schools. The marching bands could practically march there if they left early enough. And that is an all-time classic small school rivalry. And now it's a region game. I hate that one was not on our prediction sheet this week, because Cornersville is playing very well and Richland is playing very well. And now with the region game, that is a massive showdown for one of them two schools.
Yeah, and above everything else, the last year it kind of was like Richland's announcement that they were back. They beat Cornersville and were able to take Cornersville down. And Richland's been good since, and they're still having a good year at 2-2. Cornersville's kind of back up a little bit after being down. They got Ben Franklin, the running back, who's a great running back. But the amazing thing about this is they've turned this game into a gold out, which basically they're raising money for childhood cancer. And the young lady there, Caitlin Bass, whose brother JC has battled childhood cancer. JC is a member of the junior football team now and a football boy for Richland. But she took his experiences and has turned that into a fundraiser for childhood cancer. And there will actually a med flight from Vanderbilt University Medical Center will drop the ball to start that ball game. So it's an amazing thing that they do up there. And good thing for Giles County is it's the only game in town for tomorrow night. So everybody gets to go up there and check it out. But yeah, if you don't have anything else to do, take a little ride down to Linville and watch some really good football.
That will be a game you will not want to miss. You can check it out in person, or if you would like, you can tune in to Pulaski Citizen Live. Easiest way to get there is visit PulaskiCitizen.com. Click on Pulaski Citizen Live. You have a player option there. If you want to get sophisticated, you can download the Mixlr app, MIXLR, and you search PCL Richland. You can dial that game in.
Yep.
That will be a fun game that you will not want to miss.
I will say this. Let me say this real quick.
Come on.
All this that we talk about, all these games, I know there's a lot of people in the Mid-South Mid-State that love to watch and find out, keep up what's going on with football. And you will not find a more complete coverage of the Mid-State football scene than MSM TV and MSM Radio. Main Street TV and Main Street Media TV, Main Street Media Radio. If you go and watch our TV shows that are running pretty much, I think they loop them through. We cover all these areas that we were talking about: Robertson County, Sumner County, Montgomery County, Wilson County, Rutherford County, Wilson County, Murray County, Giles County. All these areas that we're talking about, all these teams that we've been talking about, they cover all of that. And like I said a while ago, I was listening to it coming up through here. If you want to know what's going on, you need to get hooked up to MSMradio.com, MainStreetMediaRadio.com, or MainStreetMediaTV.com, and you can pick up all of that information that these great sports writers and sports editors are doing, including one Wade Neely. I'm going to give him a little love.
Ooh, careful now.
But by the way, I will say this. I'm kind of worried about him. The boy has actually put on a hoodie tonight.
You know, I was going to put it on before the game. Not that I was particularly cold. I just felt like I'd rather be a little comfy. And then you kind of pointed out, you said, hey, you going to go ahead and put that on now?
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I'll wait till halftime at least.
Right.
So I made it.
I can't believe that I'm looking at a man wearing in September wearing a hoodie at a football game. I'm just saying.
Well, we are in the elements tonight, which I was going to point out, by the way. It was good that we're out here because when you hype me up so much, if I was in the press box, my head would have ballooned up a little, so we wouldn't have been able to get out. But
just take my word for it. There's a lot of great coverage. These local newspapers do the best job of covering their teams. If you want to find out what's going on in Mid-State football, you need to be listening to Main Street Media Radio and TV.
Well said, my friend. The second half has officially begun, 41-0. CPA leads, and again, it will be a rolling clock. So, in addition to the main action, our job sometimes in these situations is to try and shout out some of your players that don't normally get a ton of tick there. Yeah, exactly. Struggling here. As they do mark it at the 27.
Got a lot of new guys on defense for CPA already. You see that.
Just from a size perspective, you can tell.
Yeah.
Hayden McKee is a senior. He comes flying in off the edge, makes a stop there.
Immediately, you see that Law's not in there, and the Chance Steele's not in there, and now we got a man that doesn't usually play that's got a cramp. It's got a cramp out there. That's got to be. They'll be giving him a hard time for that. You know that.
I was just getting ready to say, obviously we hope this young man's okay, but he is going to catch all kinds of flack on the sideline.
You finally get out there and you lay down and you get a cramp first play. Yeah. You've seen a whole lot of different players. You want to call them off out there on defense right now. There's a lot of different guys out there than we were seeing earlier.
Well, we mentioned, I know Gannon Kale's out there. The crazy part is, as you glance through the roster, a lot of these guys that are getting minutes out here now, Josh Jennings, a lot of these guys are seniors.
Jonah McMillan, the Kale, Gannon Kale. I mean, yeah, you're right. They're all seniors, but that's tough. That's when you're a senior in your second string, man.
Marable is still in at quarterback for BGA. They give on 2nd and 6, and running over the right side is Coleman. Coleman's still running hard.
Got Preston Patterson out there I'm going to call off the CPA guys. Sawyer Daniel, because these are guys that we haven't talked about. Good first down run there for BGA. Warren Pistoli. Josh Jennings. Got a lot of new guys out there on the CPA defensive side.
They did give the first down And a nice little
move.
stutter step in the hole right there to eventually bust loose for a good little gain is Coleman. Coleman's got some nice wiggle about him, my friend.
He does. He's come up holding his hand. Looks like he's hurt. They're going to bring in number 24,
Walker. And again, BGA comes in 2-2. Coach Rodriguez has got the guys playing hard. But if you're a fan of a team that's played CPA over the last decade, you've kind of seen this script before. It is awfully tough to beat these guys.
Brand new, that's for sure.
Toss in the flat. It is caught by Hayes. The short passing game has been effective.
Yeah.
And you could see versus any other team that why BGA's offense could be so lethal because they're completing the passes in the flat to a really speedy guy in Hayes, but he's bottled up every time. It'll be 3rd and 2 after that tackle.
Well, from what I've seen of BGA, they do a lot of the horizontal passing game, horizontal passing game, almost like a run game. And then next thing you know, they uncork one long. And this Marable kid can throw it on a dime from wherever he is.
3rd and 2, right near midfield.
Nice.
Great burst. And brought down at the 50. Walker running with some conviction there. And that is indeed enough to stretch the chains. They actually bring it back to the 49. BGA's moving left to right here in this 3rd quarter. Again, it's a running clock situation, 41-0. CPA was virtually flawless offensively in the first half. Fresh set of downs. One man in motion, now a second. They run a little pop pass here to Hayes. Hayes breaking a tackle. He's out across the 40, the 30, in a foot race to the 20.
Nice.
He slips a man at the 10, and Arnett Hayes goes in from 51 yards out. That is a nice touchdown for Arnett Hayes, the junior wideout.
He got down about the 10-yard line and left 3 men laying, snatching for air is what he did. That was a great move at the 10 to get in the end zone for that 51-yard touchdown run. Well, I guess technically it's a pass because he tossed it forward to him. But nice, everything. Well, Arnett Hayes did all the work on that one, that's for sure.
Hayes had acres of space for the vast majority of that run, as the extra point will be kicked by Giannotti here. Will Johnson, the sophomore, is the holder. He gets it down. And that's a good hold. That's a good kick. Giannotti puts it up, puts it through. We'll come back in just a moment. BGA not going quietly, but CPA still leads. It is 41-7 midway through the 3rd. When we come back, you're listening to Tennessee Highway Safety Office sponsored Main Street Preps Thursday night high school football game of the week coverage. Back right after this.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
BGA with a nice touchdown to open the scoring here in the second half alongside Scott Stewart. I'm Wade Neely saying hello. This is the Main Street Preps Thursday night game of the week presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, reminding everyone that fans don't let fans drive drunk. And Scott, 8:21 to go. Just when you thought BGA might be down for the count, a nice play right there. Out of the backfield, Hayes takes the pop pass and runs. Well, I was getting ready to say he had acres of space for the vast majority of that run, and then at the 10, you called it beautifully. He just slipped 3 defenders grasping for air.
Yeah, they almost ran into each other trying to get it. It was an amazing move. And I will say this, if we don't get to say anything else about tonight, obviously we love to come out and cover these kids, but we've seen some really good high school football players that we're going to be seeing on Saturdays coming up, buddy. I'm here to tell you.
This kick is fielded at the 3 and returned out to the 30.
That Leroy Harris III is impressive. I mean, size-wise and also ability-wise, as is Andre Evans. Both of those guys have been standouts to me on the CPA side tonight, along with Cruz Law, who has also been a standout.
And we haven't even really mentioned it. That's how you know he's done a good job tonight. We haven't called the name much, if at all, of John Wayne Oliver, number 77.
Right.
He's an Ole Miss commit. And those linemen, man, they don't get a lot of props. Even when they do their job well,
got a new quarterback.
It's tough for us to call their names sometimes.
Weston Wilsford, I believe, is our new quarterback.
So CPA begins this drive at the 31. And turning and handing that one off.
Gave it to Dylan Reed.
Yeah, Reed with a nice burst there, the junior. He picks up 6, maybe 5, maybe 6. Balish making the tackle there.
Starters for BGA continue to be mostly the same guys. See Hannaberry out there. Hammondtree, excuse me, yes. Out here in the defensive secondary. Walker out there.
2nd and 5. And this give again to Reed, and the junior spun around and brought down. Minimal gain.
The tackle out there for BGA by number 75, Reed Helmy.
He's a sophomore.
Yep.
It's
3rd and 5. 41-7 is your score. BGA putting its first points of the night on the scoreboard a moment ago. And that pass is intended on the far side. Is that caught? No, they say incomplete.
Incomplete.
Good defensive coverage there. Knox McLean was the intended receiver. Looked like he might have grabbed it, but they say he may have caught it out of bounds.
Christian Thompson out there on the coverage. You're right, Wade. You called that right. Really good coverage out there for him. It looks like we're going to get our first CPA punt of the night.
That'll be the freshman, Jack Van Orman. Clock will continue to run here.
A lot of underclassmen, a lot of second string, third string guys getting in for CPA tonight. BGA has mainly kept their first string in.
Nice kick.
Ooh, good kick.
Van Orman, and this is briefly bobbled, but is now picked up. But that does kill any chance of a major return there.
That was
Hammondtree. Jackson Hammondtree, he bobbled it. He at least made sure he recovered it, but he had nowhere to go right after that.
Right. So going to set up again. BGA has just fought the field position bug all night. They're going to be all the way back inside the 25, about the 23-yard line. Start this up. We will have the young man Marable at quarterback. He'll have Arnett Hayes out to his left. Just going to have split left and split right.
And, with Hayes only a junior, we talked about Marable being just the sophomore.
Right. They're going to be teaming up. You're right.
That could be a lethal combo next year. 1st and 10. Beautiful run up the middle. Just kind of zigging and zagging right there for Jacob Coleman, also a junior, looking good. He comes up a little lame at the end of the play. He's going to trot off.
About 23 yards, about 20 yards on that. Against regular human beings, that BGA looks pretty good, Wade. I mean, when they're not up against superheroes, the superheroes out there on the CPA side.
You made a point in the couple times. We'll get back to it right after this first down play here. Sending a man in motion, and they will give
Walker
up the middle. Yeah, good yardage there from Walker, maybe 7 yards. You're commenting on the size of the defensive line, and the point I was going to make is the linebackers look like your traditional defensive linemen, but they're speedy as linebackers.
For most high school teams. It's the difference between, I don't know, let's say it's the difference between Mountain West Conference and SEC players. I mean, that's the difference that you're talking about from that CPA first team. Now they're playing against guys that really match up better with, and you see how BGA can score pretty well.
2nd and 4, another off tackle give.
I mean, their offensive line's blowing. They're blowing holes right now. The BGA offensive line is, with the Pittmans out there.
Good carry there. Out to the 44. Good crowd still hanging around for this one. CPA brought a great crowd. Short trip over.
You see Will Evans come out. He's going to split left out there with that's somebody we really haven't heard from that we were expected to. And then also the Sellers is out there too that you were talking about, the Mississippi, the Ole Miss. Right? Was that Oliver Sellers? Wasn't that right?
John Wayne Oliver.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Give up the middle here.
Oliver Sellers out there with Will Evans. They both ran routes, but they ended up handing the ball up the middle, I believe, to
Coleman.
Coleman again. BGA just moving the ball. Like I said, they got that big offensive line, and they're running behind it. Now they're going to split those same two wide receivers out to the right. He's going to drop back and uncork one here in just a minute.
We mentioned BGA gets Hunter's Lane next week. That game will be played at home. Hard run here.
Yeah.
A lot of people flying in to potentially make the tackle there.
Chase
Gregory, a junior, in on the tackle.
He's going to end up about a yard shy. It's going to be third down, Wade.
CPA gets good pasture. CPA will play one more Thursday night game later this year on the 5th of October versus Antioch. And this is the lone Thursday game for the Wildcats. Minute 20 to go in the third. 41-7 is your score. It's been all CPA tonight. First down yardage.
Yep, Walker this time.
And really, at this point, you're kind of alluded to it. Really, you're just kind of trying to build confidence going forward.
You got to get the bad taste of that first half out of your mouth. You got to, if you're BGA right now, you're working with the psyche of your young men. You got to take them in there and say, hey, y'all, you got to realize who you just tangled with in the first half, right? And
turn and give on 1st and 10. Walker up the middle. Good tackle at the end of that run by CPA's Chase Gregory. Also, Trip Haraff making the tackle. So the 5-yard pickup. This could be the final play of the third. Again, a running clock situation here. BGA could.
They don't even have to snap it. I think they're going to wait.
Maybe take it to the 4th.
Yep.
Yeah, body language kind of indicates that, or maybe snap it very late, I guess.
Okay, now they're going to line up back like they're going to. Yep.
Game clock, they do snap it with 2. And it's a rollout and a one-on-one battle sacked. Hayden McKee, the senior linebacker, just tracking down Marable, and that is an unfortunate way to end the quarter. And the body language kind of looked like not everybody was in sync right there, maybe thinking they were going to take it to the 4th, but
I bet you they're wishing they had.
You're exactly right, partner. So the sack brings us to the end of the third. 41-7. BGA does put points on the board, but it is all Lions here tonight. Scott and I will be back right after this. You are listening to Main Street Prep's Thursday night game of the week coverage presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. We're back in 1 minute.
Let's visit with Laura from Moxie Pest Control.
What separates us from other companies in Tennessee, our mission to our customers is to always improve the quality of life. We're considered a full encompassing service, so we're going to take care of 50 plus different pests, and we'll always have your back.
Call Moxie Pest Control at 615-469-5710. That's 615-469-5710. Or visit them at moxieservices.com.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
(41-7). BGA scored the only points of the third. It is 3rd and 14. Backups in for CPA predominantly. starters kind of still in for BGA. They're going to play fake. They throw, and Marable finds Hayes. Hayes is shoved out of bounds by a couple of defenders at around the 25. He's going to be a couple of yards shy of the first. I thought, but they have adjusted the scoreboard to say first down. They're going to have to go back and change that. Yeah, it was well short, it looked like to me.
4th and 2, they're going to go for it, obviously. I mean, there's no reason not to at this point. 4th and 2, it's go for it territory anyway at the 24-yard line. Just follow that big man on the left side.
Yeah, there's a lot of beef on that left side of the line. It's a delayed handoff, though. They really didn't get it going.
Man.
And the stutter step leads to a loss. Coleman is brought down. Hayden McKee makes the
that was
big
McKee
play.
again, and really, at that point, you really just want to get something going downhill behind the big man, and the delay just gave McKee a chance to get back there and make the play for CPA. McKee, I tell you, it's going to be interesting to see. Like you said, Hayes is a junior, and Marable's a sophomore. It's going to be interesting to see what those two guys can do next year. And I really like a lot about this BGA team in that the size that they have up front, the athleticism they have, their quarterback's really, really good based on what I've seen of him. Not as much tonight. Obviously he was facing a pretty daunting task tonight, Wade. But obviously CPA's good. CPA's going to be hard for CPA to get anybody. And really, that was thinking about that just a minute ago too. How would you like to have seen that Pearl Cone CPA game?
Whew.
I mean, good night.
Oh, excuse me. Allow me to dust my shoulders off. The game that I was the lone member of the staff to predict Pearl Cone to beat CPA.
Right.
That game you're referencing?
That game, exactly.
Man, that would have been a great one to be at, partner. What a war that was, as Pearl Cone beats NBA week 1 and then follows up with a win versus CPA week 2.
CPA takes over. They hand the ball off, and it's going to get about 4 yards. That's number 4 for CPA running again. That's Dylan Reed. He's been running the ball mostly here in the second half as we've been on a running clock. Once again, 41-7 is your score. We're in the fourth quarter with a running clock. CPA scored all 41 of their points in the first.
Yep, it's been tough sledding tonight for the Wildcats.
4
here.
passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns.
Whew.
Yeah.
2 beautiful deep balls and a nice screen play.
Right.
On the 3 tutties there for the Lions.
Andre Evans has 2 touchdowns. I had the total passing yards at about 151 total passing yards. And then the rushing yard, I thought I had over right at 300 yards total. I mean, and you think 41 yards and 151 passing yards, but they were short fields, a lot of short fields. They were throwing those balls for 40, 30, 40 yards, 35 yards, stuff like that. So that's why you don't get big numbers.
Yeah, let's not forget the game started with about a 70-yard kickoff return.
Right.
CPA began at the 25-yard line.
Out.
Nice throw to the sideline, but it's hauled out of bounds. Hey, Scott, I wanted to mention you and I had been talking, doing our research and all of our due diligence for BGA, our quality hosts here. And I was joking with you, but there's a lot of notable alumni, and I gave you a good rundown of the list. But I got 2 buddies listening into our broadcast tonight.
Whoa. You got friends?
I got friends, and some of them are in high places, believe it or not. 2 good buddies, brothers Will and Sam Martin, proud BGA alums. Will is men's basketball coach at Missouri Western, NCAA Division II program, and Sam Martin is the coach at Zion Christian Academy.
All right.
Both former student athletes and colleagues of mine at Martin Methodist College, now UT Southern. They're tuned in, and they're saying, man, I wish we had an offense like CPA's because BGA has had tough sledding here tonight.
Everybody wishes they had an offense like CPA right now. But we got to remember, we talked about, boy, he turned that one over too.
Beautiful punt here on 4th and 5. Punting from around the 20, and this is going to die at around the 14. Great punt by Van Orman. His second punt of the night.
Say this. I mean, we talked about Andre Evans is going to LSU. We got Leroy Harris III, who I'm just said where I'm going, but I promise you, it's got a 1 after the D. All right, he's going to a D1. He's going to a Power 5 D1 school. If Leroy Harris III is, I mean, you got Wade's listed off the everywhere everybody's going. Everybody wants an offense like that, Wade.
and again, the point that we tried to hammer home a couple times tonight, yes, they got all the talent, but they have executed at an extremely high level tonight. They left no wiggle room for BGA from the jump.
No, and that's I made we need to make that point, because how many teams come in with all the talent and all the experience, and then they lay an egg and they leave a team in it and let that team come. If they didn't come and execute well, they would have faced a lot harder row. Instead, they built this lead, and now their teammates get to come and play some.
Drive begins here at the 13. Look out! Walker running with some purpose right there.
I mean, this shows you that BGA is no slouch. We've seen them move the ball down the field against what I call more reasonable competition.
Yeah. Very eloquently put earlier. Regular human beings, I think, was how you described.
Not superheroes, right? Not the superheroes that they were playing a while ago. The playing in the first half.
41-7. Final few minutes here. Stretch play and going for a ride and down eventually on that tote was Coleman. Good job of stringing it out there.
I think Jacob Coleman, they need to get him on the bench. Look, that young man he's hurting right now, and he's been hurting for the last 2 or 3 series. I'm obviously not telling the coach what to do, but I think maybe they'll let him have the rest of the night off. He's
earned a break.
He's been a warrior tonight. Let's just put it that way.
Guffey Brown Stadium here on the campus of BGA. In 2 weeks, we will be in Murfreesboro as Oakland and Siegel, my friend. Woo! That is going to be a good one. Oakland is currently 3-1. They are set to host Blackman tomorrow night.
Okay.
And then Oakland gets Rockvale on the road. And then Siegel will be the host on Thursday, September 28th. We are off on our Thursday night broadcast next week. Stay tuned for the rest of our schedule. But that one is going to be a Donnybrook in Rutherford County, my friend.
A kerfuffle.
A slobber knocker, some would say, as those two schools. And that's been the fun thing. Siegel, as you've kind of pointed out earlier in the broadcast tonight, relatively new school. I mean, within the last, 25 years.
Yep.
Rivalry forming instantly. They kind of came on the scene, have had great success in virtually all their sports. So
it's interesting to me to see Oakland do well, because they weren't that great of a team whenever I was covering it whenever I was actually an intern with Monty Hale.
Now a colleague.
Yeah, right. Oh.
This is tossed toward the sideline. New pitching catch combination there. Ryan Krause was the intended receiver, and it's incomplete. 4th and 11 upcoming. That was Will Evans. Or Will Evans, I should say, is trotting on now. Maribel's night is officially done. 5:18, and the clock is rolling here. This has been a
show. I mean, CBA's put on a show. It's been, if you can get past the fact that you kind of feel uncomfortable watching BGA try to, it's just
low snap here on the punt attempt. This is fielded clean, though, and kicked away. It'll die at around the 49. Scott, I will never forget. We've also hearkened on the fact that we cover Giles County and Richland predominantly. Giles County, in a year in which the Bobcats made it all the way to the state championship game, they came up to CPA, and they were playing well, undefeated, and almost eerily similar to tonight. They kicked it off, and CPA housed it, and you could just see the energy zapped, and they got absolutely flattened after that.
Right.
And I credit BGA for kind of picking themselves up off the mat. And they were a play or two away defensively from getting a stop and maybe making it a little competitive ball game early.
Right, yeah.
But the Lions.
Well, it's just been a snowball from the very beginning. The 70-yard kickoff return. 25 yards for their first touchdown. Next time they actually hold them for a third down, and they hit a slant to Harris, who takes it 41 yards to the house. It's 14-0 before you know it. And then the next time they got them on fourth down, and they get the fourth down. Next play he hits Andre Evans for a 42-yard touchdown pass. I mean, it's like it's man, when you got that many different ways to go, it's pretty daunting for a team. Like I said, it's already hurt with 6 players out. So, hey, valiant effort. I'm gonna say that for sure for BGA. You definitely want to say that. I mean, those guys. They never gave up. Caden Marable never gave up. He got almost killed on that one series where they lost like 30 yards on the series. I thought he was going to get killed a couple of times. So they never gave up, not a single one of them, and that's to their credit.
2:55 to go.
Good.
Running hard and making a good tackle at the end of that play was Jackson Harlan for the Reed on the carry, Harlan on the tackle for the Wildcats here. Jack Gregg also in on the tackle. So Coach Rodriguez and the Wildcats going to fall to 2-3. Coach Ingle Martin and the Lions going to go to 4-1. And we play on. And after tonight, partner, we are officially beyond halfway of the high school football season.
Amazing? That's just amazing.
It floors me every single year because we work so hard and everything. As we got a big play brewing, 4th and 1, flying off the backside edge.
Got it.
Could be a strip sack on our hands. The ball comes loose. It is recovered by the Wildcats.
Fans getting fired up. Oliver Sellers comes in from the backside on the blitz, and the quarterback for CPA at that point is Weston Wilford. Knocks the ball out. BGA comes away with it, gets the crowd a little something to cheer about here in these last inside 2 minutes to go in this ball game.
Good little positive note maybe to end this thing on.
Yeah.
Miles Sawyers is going to check in now across the offensive line for the Wildcats. As we tick away here, it's been a CPA kind of night. And again, if they had not stubbed their toe versus Pearl Cone earlier in the year, they would be sitting here undefeated.
I'd like to see Pearl Cone's defense. They held them to 11. Is that what it was? 15-11. Isn't that what the score was? I'd like to see their defense.
Here's a deep ball. Well thrown, nearly caught. Good toss right there from Bo Bryan, the third-string quarterback.
Oh, that's right.
Take it away, partner. Remind our fans here one more time.
That young man's father is Luke Bryan, none other than country music star Luke Bryan.
The Luke Bryan.
Yeah, the Luke Bryan.
Wow.
Bo Bryant.
That was a good ball,
sophomore, if I'm not mistaken, or is he? I think he's a sophomore.
Freshman. Bo Bryan is just a freshman, folks. Yeah, Pearl Cone wins that game 15-11. They're undefeated.
I'd like to see their defense. Either that or figure out what CPA didn't do right, because I can't see anybody stopping this team for 11 points.
Final play or two here. Give out of the backfield. What a load out of the backfield for Jack Gregg running hard. And reminder, Evans, the star receiver for CPA, transferred from Pearl Cone.
That's right, yeah.
So we could be talking even more loaded Firebird squad, as Gregg's carry will carry us to the finish line. It is a final tonight, folks. 41-7. The Lions run away with it. 41-0 was your score at the half. BGA gets its lone points in the third quarter.
Arnett Hayes with the big run.
He had a great little gallop out of the backfield, but CPA, the Lions, too strong. That's now 10 straight in this series in favor of CPA. Again, they met for the 2018 state championship, but this has been a one-sided affair as of late, and it's one-sided here tonight, partner. It's 41-7. I think we've kind of ran through everything. CPA played virtually a flawless first half. BGA was just behind the 8 ball early. They fought hard, but they could not make up the ground they needed. And that kind of is the tail of the tape as this one comes to a close.
A lot of talent out on that field from both sides, especially on the white team, the CPA, the white uniform team. They definitely they definitely had the majority of the talent, the majority of the experience, and as we said, they executed well. But there's a lot of talent out there. Both these teams got a lot to look forward to. Neither one of them, obviously, CPA is going to make a deep run, if not all the way to the state title game. And BGA's got they've got definitely got a chance to get themselves into a position to make a little run in the playoffs.
Yeah, get in the mix. A lot of folks are saying, especially with Lipscomb being down this year, that CPA maybe is their title to lose after coming up shy versus those guys a couple times. But you're right, BGA, you can see the building blocks.
There's some stuff there. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. There's some stuff there, Wade, that makes you see that they've got the building blocks is a good way of a good team.
And it's worth pointing out, by the way, they went 1-9 last year.
Yeah.
So already sitting here
with double the wins
at
already.
Now 2-3, and their lone win was versus Republic last year. So BGA does fall tonight, 41-7. Hats off to CPA. And Scott, as we get ready to wrap things up, we want to thank a couple of folks, especially the staff here at BGA, who really, from the moment we dropped our first correspondence with them earlier in the week, they went above and beyond for us here. We knew it was going to be a great experience, but they really kind of exceeded even our expectations.
Yeah, I've got some. Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, it's to watch that kind of team play is just it's amazing, Wade. So that it was worth the trip up here for that.
As that is one of our shout outs. Again, we also want to thank a good friend of ours. You can read words from our good friend and colleague, Russell Vanozzi, online tonight, later this week on Main Street Preps. He helped us with a lot of details on both of our rosters here. So thank you to Russell as always. And thank you to everybody for tuning in. Scott, any final thoughts before we close up shop?
No, man, it's been another great night. Thanks to everybody who's listening. Thanks to Main Street Media Radio and Main Street Media TV. I once again would like to encourage all you high school football fans out there to get yourself to mainstreetmediatv.com to get the Main Street Media app, TV app that you can watch. Fire Roku, lots of different ways, Apple TV, lots of different ways to see that. And start watching these I call it tremendous coverage that these local newspaper editors, sports editors are doing. You're not going to get better coverage, I don't care where you turn, of these high school teams than the local newspaper sports editors that cover them. And now not only can you read that, but we're bringing it to you in all kinds of different ways through radio and TV. So I encourage you guys that are out there listening to us who like it to find the schedule, find out when these shows are coming on and watch them because, like I said, they're covering all these mid-state schools better than anybody else will. There's nobody else that'll touch the coverage that we can give you.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. Thank you, Scott Stewart, for all of your hard work behind the scenes. And we will see you, my friend, in 2 weeks. Our next broadcast of Main Street Preps Thursday night high school game of the week action is in 2 weeks' time. It will be Oakland at Siegel. We've still got a big Ravenwood-Franklin game to come later this year and a few others deep in the month of October. So we're really proud of our schedule thus far, and we're excited for what's to come. But again, for Scott Stewart, for our producer tonight, the great one, Justin Kulik, thank you for all of your help behind the scenes. I'm Wade Neely saying so long. A final this evening. CPA runs away with it at BGA. The Lions take it 41-7. Good night from the campus of Battleground Academy. Wayne Neely saying so long. We'll see you in 2 weeks. This has been a production of Main Street Preps Thursday night game of the week coverage, presented as always by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Good night.
You've been watching the Main Street Preps Thursday night game of the week. Nobody brings you more comprehensive coverage of high school sports in Middle Tennessee than Main Street Preps. The Main Street Preps Thursday night game of the week was brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk.